Indeed, it is the new year, and I want to celebrate with you my weight loss. I did it. I lost the weight. Now, the only issue still is that I don't have that shape that I once had, and most of the weight that I have left is still in the middle area. The only thing I have near my stomach area. The boobs are still big compared to what I used to have. However, I'm no longer in that 3X category. Now, I had purchased some items from our favorite QVC online store, and too big. 3X is just way too big. Now, it fits nicely in the boob area, and that was the main purpose of getting the 3X, because the boobs are so big, and I didn't want the clothing to be so tight that it cuts off the circulation. I still wanted to be able to have good circulation. So, I did lose the weight. However, I'm not quite where I need to be. I did keep my goal of being below the 200 pounds by the new year. I managed to accomplish that goal very well. However, I still have the weight in the tummy, in the stomach area. So I need to be mobile. I need to get to be a little bit more mobile. I need more mobility. And because I don't have the wheelchair, I'm very uncomfortable just getting out there and not have my little device that I can sit in and still be able to get around and run my errands and everything, even when I get so fatigued that I can't hardly do much. With the wheelchair, I can still get around. So we don't have the wheelchair, and we're having issues with the vehicle. It limits my ability to really be mobile and functioning in a way that I can get stuff done. So I've been trying to go to my park, my nearby park, and get some walking in. Not too much, I don't go too far. Just enough that I'm getting that exercise in. And I took advantage of the information of lifting heavier weights. The guy that left that, thank you so much. You are correct. Lifting the heavier weights made a difference. Now, I felt like I was getting a little bit more stockier, but because I'm still fasting and I'm still eating a particular way, I don't feel like I'm getting as stocky anymore. Actually, I feel that it helped tremendously because my skin is not sagging. In the arms, I was sagging in the arms, and when I started lifting the weights, they were getting bigger, thicker. I felt stocky when I first started, but it seems to all be working itself out to where it's looking more like what I expect to see as far as my body weight and what I want my body to look like at the end of all of this. And one thing I do want is for my muscles to be tightened, especially in that core area near the stomach, in the upper area near the heart. Of course, I don't want any fat there. I want to lose the weight at least down to 155, 165. I'm not even close yet, but I'm getting there. And that's what I want to celebrate today, because it is the first of the year, and we're going into the second week, the 16th of the month of January. And I'm just looking back on all that I wrote for my year that I wanted to begin with, and we're on track. The only thing that I was not expecting to still be dealing with was the automobile issue with getting it repaired. But everything else, for the most part, is on track. It's on time. It's where it's supposed to be. And I'm moving in the direction that I am trying to get to. I'm trying to get there, and it appears that when I look over the steps that I've taken, that I am going in the right direction. So health-wise, there are some issues that I've considered going to the doctors to look into, just to make sure that my blood levels and where everything needs to be is where it's at. So I have changed insurance that I have, and they keep changing the insurance that I have, which makes it a little bit more difficult to really know financially what all I will be spending on trying to get the health care that I desire. So that's going to be the next topic that we'll talk about too, because all of this plays a role in our weight, in our health, in our overall wellness. Now, I've also started trying to find different ways to substitute income being disabled. And there is employment that I want to look into, but I also kind of looked at other people who were disabled, and it doesn't look too bright. It doesn't look too great as far as when hiring those who are disabled and up there in age. That is not something that's easy to accomplish, but it can be done. So we're going to try to focus on the positive aspect of everything and see what we can do. Now, I love making these videos. I'm not going to stop making the videos. This is something that I truly enjoy, and I'm also looking into ways that I could possibly make money doing this, but I want to stay within telling the story of being disabled, getting up there, aging out of society almost, because if you can't keep up financially, you're going to be left behind. And they don't have a lot of places for the elderly and the disabled where they have affordable rent and places to stay where it's safe and just for you and your group of people. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to look into different places that are available to rent and the type of places that we desire to rent in, and not necessarily where we have to be because we can't afford to be in the places that we want to be. So we're going to look into all this kind of stuff, and the graphic design context, in which I also have a lot of interest in. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of these interests with you along with California. You know, we just had an earthquake last night, and I did some content for you that now I didn't put up because I said some things jokingly and it ended up being true. And what I said jokingly was, when I looked at the crack with the flower growing out of the crack, out of the cement, I was going to give you the poem and read the poem to you about Tupac and so forth, and about the flower growing out of the crack, out of the cement. And I said, you know, we've heard these stories so many times over and over. I feel that the message may be something else to me, but it may not necessarily be the same for you. But then somebody else seeing what the information that I put up may get a different download or understanding of the picture that I'm showing. So I said jokingly that, first of all, many years ago when I was younger, Tupac and his mother had stayed with one of my family members. So that it could be something else as far as a message. And then I said, being that we're in California and that there's a crack in the cement, and that we're probably most likely to have an earthquake, that is probably telling me about an earthquake more so than Tupac or anything else. However, it could have been a multitude of messages, and that's just kind of a summary of what I was talking about when I was taking the picture and recording the video about the flower growing out of the cement. Well, we had a 4x4 earthquake last night, so it's not so funny. And I didn't want to put that up because even though they didn't state that there were any injuries or anything, you know, at times when you get these messages, sometimes you don't get the feedback of what you thought was true. And sometimes you have to guess at something, and your guesses aren't always on point. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. However, in this particular one, it was on point, and it was right about the earthquake. Now, some will say, well, you've been having earthquakes, and it still may not be what you think that it is. I'm not sure. I'm not going to overanalyze it, but I was just going to share with you the type of feeling that I got during that time when I saw the flower growing out of the cement, and what I was thinking. And, you know, since California is home, I'm at peace with whatever this outcome is going to be. And that's with everything, with the election and all. And I've said this before, I am at peace. Now, that does not mean that I like everything that's going on in the world and the things that go on around me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just at peace with myself and the decisions that I've made in life. Now, I would love for things to be better. That's the whole idea of striving and setting these goals, and aiming for something better, because like they say, you reach and you aim for the sky, and if you don't quite make it, you'll be among the stars. So that's what I'm planning out for myself for this year, and I'm sharing with you the goals that I've accomplished.